Welcome to the Vertical Alignment Success System supporting grades 3 through 10, Texas edition. The Vertical Alignment Success System was built for you. Whether your PLC follows DeFore's 4 questions, Bambrick's backward planning, or John Hattie's focus on clarity and success criteria, everything you need is just a click away. Identify your high priority standard, unpack the skill, and access research based strategies without sifting through a dozen, perhaps disconnected documents. Let's say you're a classroom teacher, tired of clicking through endless documents and tabs just to plan one lesson. The Vertical Alignment Success System solves one side of the planning equation, unpacking the standards in preparation for PLCs without the clutter and perhaps sometimes the confusion. On the other side, let's say you're an instructional leader supporting multiple teachers and grade levels. Stop chasing clarity across endless tabs while juggling walkthroughs, emails, and for some of you, your own classroom instruction. VASS is the pre-work hub that streamlines support so you can guide every teacher with clarity, confidence, and aligned tools. When we look at our current planning resources, we have the TEKS guide, and it has remained in beta mode for several years. While it provides vertical alignment and a vertical alignment view, it presents the standards in isolation. There is some unpacking with a clear progression of verb complexity. And for some standards, you will see not only a glossary where it unpacks the skill, but they also supply you with demonstrated proficiency. But this is only for some of the standards where you will get the demonstrated proficiency and the glossary unpacking of the academic vocabularies within the standard. With that comes the vertical alignment matrix, where from grades K through 12, you will see the progression of the rigor, and sometimes even some of the standards may stay the same for a few years, but that doesn't mean that the text complexity doesn't increase and the rigor increases. So it may be the same standard, but the text complexity gets more rigorous. And then we move to within that, you'll see the Texas Gateway, and it takes you from up to grade 8. And in some of these resources, you will find a binder and resources. And some of these resources are still great. One of the things we always want to communicate is that VASS was not created to take the place of these resources. We saw a gap and we're filling the gap, but these resources are still viable. However, there are some resources in Texas Gateway that are no longer working. The links are not functioning, and some of the resources are a little bit outdated. And it still doesn't prepare a teacher for today's PLC in conjunction with their high quality instructional material. Then we have the TEKS resource system is without question the most robust and comprehensive alignment system available, but it's not universally accessible. Many teachers and leaders are locked out unless their district or their campus purchases it. And that exclusion may be by design, but at what cost? And you'll see here, if you have member access, you can delve into the curriculum, and then it gives you assessment look, more resources. Here, it unpacks it. It gives you the TEKS clarification. Even when you move and look at this Region 19 document, It's giving you the task of the rationale, the outcomes, the guiding questions. So that's like the CFUs. All of this is wonderful if you have access. And so we also have Lead Forward. And they have certain components in their platform that you pay for. And if your campus doesn't pay for these resources and these trainings, then again, you're locked out. One of my favorite parts of Lead Forward is the free access to just delving into the data tools, accountability, and my most favorite is the released items analysis tool, where you really get to see, even though you teach the standard with depth and breadth, you still want to take into account how will my students ultimately be assessed. And so the released items and analysis tool is awesome for really unpacking the standard when it comes to how will students be assessed. But those were only a few resources that you can use for planning, because if you have emerging bilingual students, then you will still have to go into TELPAS, the ELPS, and figure out what ELPS align with the standard that you're unpacking, and you're still this classroom teacher. And what happens if you are this classroom teacher, you have to unpack the high priority T, internalize a lesson from high quality instructional material, customize lessons, build aligned slide decks, plan meaningful engagement, and present all of this during PLC. You are that principal. You're juggling multiple grade levels, PLC facilitation, teaching, some of you teaching your own classes, and managing the daily storm of parent meetings, walkthroughs, and campus logistics. Even the best systems fall short if they don't respect the efficiency of time, the reality of teaching, or the scope of support leaders must provide, especially when support on campuses is starting to wane. Your instructional coaches, your demo teachers are no longer there because of funding. You need a resource that gives you a one-stop shop. And that is where the vertical alignment success system comes into play. VASS was designed because equity means access for all. It ensures that every teacher, regardless of experience, school placement, or district alignment, has access to clear, rigorous, and scaffold instructional tools that translate standards into student success. Equity in education isn't just about opportunity, it's about ensuring every learner has a pathway to mastery. VASS provides that pathway strand by strand, standard by standard. And if you access VASS Platform, you will see that I've lifted third grade from strand 5, third grade, author's purpose and craft, and this is standard 3.10a. Explain the author's purpose and message within a text. You will see that it's a readiness standard. What you see here is that the lesson objective, I am learning how to explain why the author wrote a text and what message the author wants me to understand. You will see the cognitive verbs, not just the verbs that are from the standard, but the verbs that also students have to metacognitively undergo as they are experiencing this standard. And you will see the check for understanding, standards-based, skill-based questions, the demonstration of learning statement, success criteria, common misconceptions, know what students and sometimes teachers need to know about that standard. And here's where the academic vocabulary lies. You will also see the show, Less language supports the TELPAS integration and the ELPS, because TELPAS and ELPS don't start in February when students are about to be tested. It starts when students hit the door at the beginning of the year. You will also see that we've gone into the test and we see the stems, but it's not just about the stem, it's understanding what other standards tie into the STAR and how am I shifting or tying into STAR. So we also have those STAR considerations. You will see suggested text, and we put suggested text because we know that campuses have HQIM. Either it's amplified, HMH, and we want to honor that you have those platforms. But let's say you've already taught using those platforms and you need a suggested text to reteach, or you need a suggested text for tutoring, then you have these texts right here. The norm reference assessment, this actually just shows you how to undergo this standard at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. So you'll see that how to tackle it or address it, especially when you're in strand 5, because strand 5 is what we like to consider here as a run or a sprint standard, even in 3rd grade. So you really need those scaffolds. And so last, what you'll see is an engagement strategy and a how do we integrate technology into this standard as well. That is what our system does for you. You click, let me show you this here. What you do is, let's say you have 6th grade. And you have 6th grade, you're going into a learning walk and you need to pull up 6th grade standard. VASS gives you that. You go into the platform, you click down, it shows you the lesson objective, success criteria, know, show, demonstration of learning right at your fingertips. Let's say now you're moving to a 7th grade class and you want to check for alignment. It gives you that same process and you don't have to sift through a lot of things. It actually just is right at your fingertip, so you can check for alignment right there. And so that leaves me here. If you are interested in the vertical alignment success system, you have the link, and the link will be in the area designated to store links, but you also have the QR code. Again, what we seek to do is one platform, every standard, no guesswork, all your TEKS-aligned tools in one place. You pick your grade, find your standard, and you're good to go. And it allows PLCs to move into an area where we're not sifting through things or just accepting the misconceptions and everything just to be compliant. What this does is, now this is your PLC pre-work hub. It is empowering teachers with a clear path from TEKS to high impact instruction and equipping instructional leaders to support every educator with confidence and clarity.